a new dawn in Britain. Britain has crossed the Brexit finish line, Prime Minister Boris Johnson said last night. Queen Elizabeth II today formally endorsed the Brexit Withdrawal Bill. Britain will leave the European Union on January 31 after passing the final stage in Parliament. At one point it seemed like I would never cross the Brexit finish line, Boris said. But I did. This time around, we will be able to move on from the last 3 years of violence and division. This time he will go to the European Parliament for approval of the Brexit Withdrawal Bill. However, it is assumed that this is nothing more than part of the formal process. Johnson will sign the agreement in a few days. But Bill's path was very smooth, not that. The bill came under pressure at the last minute in the House of Lords. 5 amendments were demanded. One of them was the offer of shelter to a lonely child refugee. The current Brexit bill does not cover the rights of child refugees. In the referendum on the issue, 300 votes were cast in favor and 220 against. As a result, it has been decided that amendments will be made in the case of returning such refugee children to the family. Britain is leaving the European Union after a long 47 years. This is the date to travel, trade and work independently across Europe. Britain joined the then European Economic Community in 1973, which took the form of the European Union, EU, in 1992. In a video message to the nation tonight, Prime Minister Boris Johnson will say that a new dawn is about to begin after 3 years of drag. Boris will deliver the speech an hour before the digital clock at 10 Downing Street touches 11 o'clock, which is the Brexit hour index. Optimistically, however, Boris would like to point out the winner's tone, knowing that a large section of the population is not in favor of Brexit. Yet the most important thing today is to say, nothing ends. Rather, it is going to be the beginning. A moment when dawn is coming. The new workday is starting by removing the screen. Moments of real national change. Boris invited cabinet ministers to a banquet on Downing Street before giving a speech. In addition to the ministers, there will be many. The menu includes sparkling wine, Yorkshire pudding, horseradish sauce, mushroom tart and many more. The buildings adjacent to Whitehall will also be illuminated. The Union flag will fly in Parliament Square. A new coin will be introduced as a memento of Britain's exit. Pro-Brexit and pro-EU parties are holding several candlelight vigils. As soon as Brexit time touches the clock outside Downing Street, pro-Brexit people gather at a party in Parliament Square outside Westminster. EU supporters will march near the Whitehall at 3 p.m. tomorrow. They will say goodbye in this way. The Prime Minister began her day with a cabinet meeting in Sunderland, North England today. The city was the first to question Brexit after the referendum. The Labour-dominated area of North England went to the Conservatives after a vote last December. So Boris started the day with a message to include the people here. Johnson faces a two-way challenge. Putting it in the hands of the people of the North, who were in favor of leaving the EU and completing the Brexit process well. The media is now saying that this time Johnson will not be able to put the blame on anyone. Whatever you do, the whole responsibility will be on him. However, in the interim of leaving the EU, at this very moment, no change will be understood. For the time being, most EU laws will remain in force. For example, till December this year, there is no interruption in the free movement of ordinary people. In those days, the Boris administration believes that a permanent agreement on free trade with the EU could be reached. Formal understanding in this regard will start from next March. The next 10 months are important. If Johnson can't negotiate a trade deal within that time, then Britain won't have time. Then Britain will have to trade with the EU in accordance with the conditions of the World Trade Organization. Opposition leader Jeremy Corbyn said after Brexit, the country will move forward, but maintain good relations with the EU. Former Prime Minister David Cameron was in favor of staying in the EU. In his words, "Great day for the country. I believe Britain will succeed in what we choose," said Brexit Party leader Nigel Farage. The day has come when we are free. It was a great victory for those who were against the organization.